All right, for today's math lesson and notes, these are the things that you're going to need. Notebook number 1 and a pencil. Go ahead and pause if you need to go get those materials. You may go ahead and pause as well if you need to, so that you can copy this page. Of course, yours might not look exactly like mine, but I like to kind of doodle while I make my notes. The title is Compatible Numbers, and I said, oh my goodness, look at that. We have IBLE, which is a suffix that we're studying in our bell ringers today. So we know that this means can be done. So something can be done with numbers, okay? We're gonna make a quick little word web out of the word compatible. Okay, so we know something can be done, right? We want to know what it is. So what's that beginning part telling us about what can be done? Okay, the first little image I'm going to make is like this, because you actually might hear the word compatible describe a marriage or a couple. Let me zoom that in for you. Okay, and you would say that these, like the husband and wife, are compatible because they get along well. We might even say can be done easily. Something or some people that work together well. Okay. And the way I want us to think about it is this little term called friendly numbers. And friendly numbers, we can add them, subtract them, multiply, and divide easily in our head. So I did highlight that, so that does mean I'm going to want you to go to the glossary. Oops, I did forget to highlight that there, so I'll have to do that. But go ahead and pause and you can write this in to your glossary. So compatible numbers, it's when numbers are easy to add, subtract, multiply, and divide in your head. When we don't need a calculator, we don't need to write things out. They're just very easy to do mentally. Okay, so I bring up compatible numbers because we're working on estimating. And when you estimate, one of the strategies you can use is to replace actual numbers with compatible numbers. So that means you may not necessarily round the numbers to the same place when you're estimating, or you think of things that are easy to do in your head, such as friendly numbers, or which would mean like it's easy to add numbers that are in the tens or in the hundreds or in the thousands. So you can think of ways to make these. Also, I don't know about you, but if I think about money, that helps too, especially, like I'm going to show you in this example, quarters. So in this example, let's say you have 54 plus 74. I could say that, when I look at these, I kind of think of quarters, which are 25 cents, and I can add those in my head easily. So maybe I change 54 to 50 and 74 to 75. And then I'm going to think of these as quarters. Well, I know that I need another quarter here, or 25, to make this $1 or 100. And then I would have, so I would take that from the 50, and then I would have another quarter or 25 left over. So that would be 125. Here's another example. Maybe you have 354 plus 219. I can make these kind of close to quarters, okay? So maybe I could think of this as $3.50 and $2.25. So I kind of cover up the hundreds 50 and 25, well, if I thought about those as quarters, I know that that's 75 cents. And then the 3 and the 2 is going to be 5. So 575 or 575 is a close estimate, and that's me using compatible numbers. Another example could be 83 plus 38. For these ones, I'm going to turn them into, or I'm going to think about like tens. Let's see, tens are really easy for me to manage in my head. So I'm going to say that this is close to 80 and this is close to 40. And I know that if I took 20 out of that 40 and added it to the 80, I would get 100. And then I would have 20 left. So I would have 120.
Ooh, good.
If you kind of want to see a visual of what that would look like. It's that word decomposing, right? So I'm going to decompose this into a 20 and a 20 because 20 plus 20 is 40. I can visualize that in my head as equaling 100 plus this other 20. So this is going on in my head. Another example. Here's 136 plus 349. So sure, I could round this down to 100 and I could round this down to 300, but maybe there is a closer estimate and I can just use numbers that are compatible, so numbers that are going to be easy to work with together, such as maybe just rounding these to the tens. So I could have 140 plus 350. Now, if I just think of the 40 and 50, I know that that's going to be 90. And then 100 and 300 is 400. So I'm going to make sure I put that 4 in that hundreds place. What about when we get to larger numbers? Oops. That should be a 4. 6,467 plus 3,091. So again, I want to make these numbers compatible. I want to make it to where I can add these quickly in my head. Well, you don't always have to start with the top one, but right here, this is really close to 3,000. So I'm just going to start there. And then I'm going to ask myself, okay, so what could I change this to or estimate that to or round it to that would be easy to add to that? If I rounded it to the thousands place, I'm going down to 6,000. That's 467 less. That's a pretty big like gap in between what my actual number would be and what the estimated number is. So I bet if I rounded it to the hundreds, which would be 6,500, yeah, I can do that in my head. Because what's going on in my head is this. So let's see. I'm going to break that up into 6,000 and 500. Okay, so 6,000 plus 500. I know that 6,000 and 3,000 is 9,000. And then I still have that 500, and then I can easily add those in my head. So 9,500 is our estimate. What I want you to do is give this a try, okay? And sometimes like what's compatible, what's easy for one person to do in their head might not be easy for another person. So some of our rounding might be a little bit different, but I just want you to come up with compatible numbers, numbers that are going to be easy to do, easy to work with in our head. So I want you to complete these problems. Jill, stop. So you're going to estimate these, okay? Using compatible numbers. going to give you a little bit of a challenge one. How could you use compatible numbers to add all of these together? Okay. So that is your work today. Please complete those, okay?